Welcome. Good morning, good evening, good night, where do you happen to be in the world? This is a video for, eh, it's hard to pick a venue right now. It's somewhat of a chaotic time. So we'll just call it the Gangrel venue for the moment. One Frank Green has been given a message from one of his deeper deeper contacts within the more mm, rural areas. He knows instinctively what this message means. It is a an invitation to the Rio Silvant Lounge in upstate New York. And let's see, one Raven uh, with no last name, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you see it, receives a animal messenger within her own haven. Whether she is having with 40K or not is up to her discretion, but the message is only for her. It is a similar message. It's with the address of the lodge as well, and a time and date stamp of usually within the coming of the next what's the moon phase actually? Does anyone know off the top of their heads?
I looked it up. It's a waning crescent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At the next waning crescent moon. And how do you both react to such a message?
Frank Green, for his part, is going to go ahead and leave a few messages to some of his own retainers at Leonardo Studios, and will, in fact, answer a message from Limely and send him a rather cryptic one back. He goes ahead and hops into his own vehicle. Let's go with a four-drive Jeep. Proceeds to travel on his way towards update, getting a similar message from Limely again, and sending him back mostly the same response.
And Raven?
Raven's gonna get the message when she's hanging out with her 40k buddies at the docks, and she will grab a motorcycle and on the agreed upon time and head on up there to the agreed upon place.
Okay. It takes a bit of travel. You've actually come to a nice little town out of the way, really royal. There's a fireworks stand for some fuck off reason, and it's been recently closed down due to a death in the family. Not really sure on that. There's a diner, and then the address is leading you up a Abla Alban Long, yeah, Alban Long Road. Yeah, weird names for this kind of place, but eventually it does lead you to yeah, lead you up the path, dark and winding, really hidden back within the forest and the trees. Is the actual lodge itself? Well, probably naming a lodge is a little too generous. It is indeed a cabin. In front there are two different cars. One seems to have been, for a lack of a better word, scorched with just fire and with there's just a massive explosion for some reason, like someone just set it on fire, like a dick or something. There is a patch in front of the small cabin. It's got like 4 rooms or something like that. Seems to be scorched with a iron ring, not iron ring, I shouldn't say iron ring, a ring of dead plant matter. And inside the cabin, there is, it looks like there's some shotgun marks. Looks like this has been a sign of a scuffle at one point. But yeah, the night air is setting in. It is becoming black and dark and darkness. no one without a little bit of help could see in this kind of darkness. Is the pitch black up above the constellations and stars shine, 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 like oh so long ago when the first sailors would look at them and hope to dear God that they would see the next sunrise.
Frank Green, for his part, when he finally makes his final destination, will go ahead and park the Jeep backwards, and go to the back trunk, pick out what appears to be a rather big cello case, and start to lug it inside. And he will simply go ahead and stand waiting next to a wall, leaning against it.
You hear the sound of an old motorcycle engine pulling up from the distance, and after a couple of minutes, it stops, and Raven gets off. She spends a point of blood to activate her recently received eye, which was vicissituted into her body, to help her see in the darkness a little bit better. And she takes out a lighter and lights a cigarette and walks along in the rough direction of the cabin, smoking, keeping her eyes open.
Let's see. Yeah, keep your ears open. You're hearing someone from the inside looking something heavy, apparently.
She slows down, makes sure that she watches a little bit from a distance as this person drags the object.
If you can't guess it, that's pretty much just Frank carrying his cello case, carrying it inside the cabin.
I've never met Frank before, so I don't know who he is. I'm just going to watch him for a minute.
Okay. Fair enough. About how much time do you guys wait? It's after 10 minutes before something else is gonna happen.
Frank Green, for his part, is fairly patient. He has his big instrument at his feet, more than ready to pull it out should something happen.
Okay. Raven, you cool with just waiting outside, or what?
Yeah, she seems fairly happy out there.
Okay.
After a little while, she perches on the ground.
Okay, cool. Well, making sure. It's after about 10, 20 or so minutes that it seems like a swarm of bats is starting to collect from the far corners. There's a little bit of a high-pitched squeaking of animal squeaks, a bat squeak. So that octave so high you can barely hear it, and then so low that yeah, you're pretty much hearing it within your bones. As the swarm just seems to start collecting around the house. Circle strafing, and slowly coming into more tighter and tighter circles, tighter and tighter spirals, tighter and tighter, until, with just a rush of wings and flapping, and a solid figure solidifies on the uh, roof of the cabin. And there is there's quite an audible thump. I can't really do it with this kind of equipment, but yeah, a loud thunk on the roof.
And Raven stands up and looks up to the figure.
Um, let's see. You remember your encounter a I guess a couple of months ago with a swarm of bats and a solidifying figure?
Yeah.
It's starting to look really, really similar to that.
Yeah. She figures that's who she was waiting for. So she looks up and sort of slowly starts walking towards the cabin.
Alright. The figure on top will go ahead and sort of hop down. And Frank Green,
Mm-hmm.
remember that K-Knight that you did combat with it a long time ago on top of an 18-wheeler?
Yep, I do remember that.
It's like the back of this guy looks exactly the same as the back of that guy.
Well, from inside, you will go ahead and hear clink clink. Two bolts of the cello case just flipping open, and Frank will go ahead and reach down and grab a sword that he's been meaning to use for quite a long time.
Okay. The new K-Knight makes his way into the cabin. Notes Frank Green. Doesn't really say anything immediately. Just sort of judges. Not judges. Just sort of takes it in, trying to feel you out a bit.
Frank Green currently has that weapon held quite firmly in his hand. He doesn't have his sunglasses. He doesn't have his Tribbley hat. He's looking at you with his glowing red eyes.
Raven follows the. Not the stranger. She has met him and spoke to him before, but she doesn't really know who he is. So she follows him into the building, and you can probably see her standing just outside the doorway.
Okay. The the only connecting point between these two K-Knights goes and puts up a hand in not exactly greeting, not exactly hostility, but not exactly friendly either. As he walks over to what looks like a grandfather clock. This is not the time.
You called us out here.
Yes, I did. The man starts congealing more and more to a regular person, actually. Actually, he's starting to pick up more of the characteristics of just a kid, a regular kid, particularly of a street kid with ratty jeans, sort of a torn up shirt and a leather jacket. Uh, yeah, Claw, Raven, Claw.
Claw's gonna go ahead and look towards Raven. Hey, hi, sup?
She tilts her head from side to side slightly at the new person, and then does a little head flick and then says, "Sup?"
Nothing much. Things good, things bad. How are you?
Oh, I'm okay. Things are pretty fucked up otherwise, but I'm surviving.
It's fucked up. Who here is in tow with mortal news?
What do you mean?
I watch the television.
Claw, something happened in New York.
Yeah, something very, very bad happened. There was a riot. It went bad. It went terribly bad. And got a lot of people's attention. A lot of the wrong kind of people's attention.
Will you elaborate? Yes, in more of a question, pleading kind of form.
Well, I have to ask. I know this is a gathering, but is this clan business?
This is to decide, it is our official stance here. Our blood stance, clan stance, and fuck everything else. What does our clan decide?
All I can really say is that a group, a freaking pack came into my city, caused a whole bunch of ruckus, slaughtered about a dozen group of people, shot at cops, all well and good fun. But then they messed around with the other groups of New York that they shouldn't have messed with.
The demons, the wizards, the werewolves?
All of them.
All of them? How did they do this?
I don't know. They walked into the streets of Manhattan. They got their attention. They started using dark powers in front of them to rile them up even more.
Raven,
Whilst Frank's talking about this, Raven sort of looks irritated, uncomfortable.
Raven,
Yeah.
what happens to the wolf that parades in the middle of the village?
Gets shot, or stabbed, or set on fire. Becomes stew for Mr. and Mrs. Baker and their 2 kiddies.
I think Raven speaks a very good truth here.
They want retaliation. They have a martyr. They have a cause. They want blood for blood.
I really don't. I worked really, really hard to keep this as quiet as fucking possible. I really did.
When I heard they were coming, I was in the wrong place. When I heard they were coming, I was set up, ready to defend the onslaught, behind closed doors. But they decided to have it out in the streets. Isn't that what you promised me? Isn't that what you said that would happen? He says, pointing accusingly at the street kid. Isn't that what we agreed upon?
Pointless. That was undirected at anything. That was mindless. The city's madness is spreading.
Which city?
Raven,
Raven says it might be time for a cleanse, in which case.
okay. Fair enough. but it sounds like these other things in mind. Should we be afraid?
Very, very afraid.
Okay. What can we do?
They want blood? Point him at blood. Point him at blood that isn't us. And isn't people that we actually care about.
I don't know a great deal about what happened that day. The particular group in question is not friendly with me. However, I think the first port of call for revenge will be those that were involved. So, perhaps we should just stay out of the way until they feel that they've had their fill of the blood. Because a lot of chaos is going on right now, and someone needs to be staying behind to build out of the ashes.
Enoch's words. When your mind becomes confused and the world becomes crazy, goes into the forest, eat nothing but animal, drink nothing but fresh water, clear your mind and your head.
So what's the clan's stance?
Well, I don't trust this city for many different reasons of my own choosing. I do not trust that city. There is only one thing I still care about. If I can move the thing I care about, I would not have a problem just letting them have their fill.
Which city? Which thing? Because you know I've already paid my dues to clan.
Yes, you have. You will get paid back in due time. Personal matter. This is my personal matters. If I get killed trying to clean my own stuff, so be it. Raven. Speak.
I have a similar standpoint, she says, tilting her head and seeming to want to get to some sort of surface that's higher than the both of you. Not for dominance reasons, but she seems slightly uneasy in both of your company. She crouches on her legs, perching like a bird, and her eyes dart around the room. I have things I wish to protect, and as long as I can keep them protected, I'm happy for the other groups to have their fill of the foolish people who want to go running into the fire.
This is why we have our very particular gifts. They help us do this. I, for one, am all for taking up stake, going back into the woods for a bit, forgetting everything.
We'll just have to hope that the careless haven't brought all the chaos to our door. Who knows where these hunters and other types will stop.
Claw.
What?
Will you go back to New York City after this?
I have one thing in New York. Only one thing that I actually care about. Only one thing. My blood. My clan has deserted that city in droves. But there's one of my blood that I'm going to keep as safe as possible.
Suggestion? Pick up stake. Come back to the woods.
Raven nods. We can protect our own.
Come back to the woods.
It's what let us survive generations. No matter what the moon beasts are, we've always been good at avoiding it.
Frickin' moon beast. They're weird. They come in deceptive packages. They look harmless. You piss them off, they become monsters.
Well, let's be honest, we're beasts as well, man.
Some of us are. He says, looking towards the raven-type raven.
It's like the street cat flicks at his bad ears. Yeah.
Raven seems as a compliment and smiles.
Is this all the gangrel that we gather from both cities?
I could not find any from Raven City. I would not find any in your city. That's your hunting ground, not mine.
So we are the clan. Clan stance on this?
Clan stance, non-interference.
Fair dues. It's one thing to be non-interfering, it's one thing to not have people on the line for this foolishness. But they're gonna come to us, ask us questions. What do we tell them? What should we tell them?
I did not see one single beast from our brood in that attack. Will that be enough?
Crane's gonna look, the claw is gonna look over to Raven. Is that necessarily true?
Raven ponders. It seems to be a matter for a certain group of individuals to deal with rather than... Let me put it this way, the idea of the attack was not a idea of the city as a whole. It was done by some careless individuals.
will be lost upon their anger.
This particular group of individuals seem hell-bent on causing chaos wherever they go, without any thought for the consequences of their actions, and if these consequences happen to be their eradication, then so be it. I won't weep for them. Nor will anyone else, I don't think.
Good words, good words. I remember another set of K-Knights going into that city, doing something similar. Didn't cause this kind of backlash. I don't know how they did it. I really don't. Okay. Claw,
Hmm.
what do you want from me?
He's gonna go ahead and look at you. Did you pass on the intel?
I could not find anyone suitable.
Then bury it. Burn it.
It shall go to the woods, for them to decide. Is this acceptable?
It's good enough.
Raven,
Hmm.
what do you want from me?
She walks up and down in her perch spot a little bit. I've learned not to ask anything of anybody, really. Only to accept what they can give. You seem to be willing to offer counsel and support. That is all I ask. Support of
Okay.
my pack mates, my clan mates.
Dark days are here again. Man, that joke was really dumb. Alright, alright. Any further business?
What can I bring back to the... What can I bring back to those who want vengeance, just to make sure that our side isn't mistargeted? Because right now, they're mad. They're angry. They won't discern between a friendly target or a hostile target in Zooster.
Raven,
Hmm.
can I task you with this?
Perhaps.
Alright. No one is asking you to do this. Just so you know, no one is asking you to do this.
It will involve some digging on my part. But I'll see how close I can get to that particular group.
Okay. Okay. You take this upon yourself for the benefit of the clan. If you are successful, you will be praised. If you are fail, you will be forgotten. I want you to know this.
She nods.
Okay then. Is there anything else that needs to be brought up? And he says it's more to the floor rather than anyone in particular.
Until the ground stops trembling when you wake up. Until that mad warlord finally comes to terms with what he saw. So many things.
Let's keep it to the scope of this meeting, this night, this moon phase.
Mostly, let's keep the lines of communications open. For those of us that go to the woods and those of us that choose to stay in our respective cities.
Okay. I'll have my, I'll try to call back. Claw has said his piece. I have said my piece. Raven, say your piece.
I think a time of great change is coming. But I'm confident that we will be able to survive it. I have great faith in the clan as a whole.
Okay then. We are mercenaries, but we will not fight each other for their own wars. Not this time. Not for this madness. And with that, the kid by the grand floor clock will make motion to the door as he begins to leave.
And Raven will give both the street kid and the man she knows as Claw a respectful bow of her head before she turns to leave.
The man who has been referred to as the Claw will simply wait for the other two Canaanites to leave, so that he is alone and so that he is the last one to go.
Alright, alright. The kid becomes the furry swarm of bats again and then leaves to parts unknown.
You hear the faint sound of music, heavy metal rock, blaring from some headphones as the motorcycle starts up again and Raven disappears into the smoky distance.
Claw, for his part, goes ahead and repacks the sword into his cello case, lugs it over to the Jeep, sets it down, gets in the driver's side seat, and goes ahead and blasts the radio and switches through different channels before settling on a station currently playing Radar Love.
And I think that's actually a pretty good place to leave it.